Hello, pandas. Welcome to the third episode of the Pandahut podcast. I'm your host, Flop.
And I'm your host, Free Jumper. I'm a new face around here, and this is my first episode on the podcast, and I'm going to be introducing you with topics such as the new map, RP mod removal, and the exciting contest where you can win an MVP plus rank.
Okay, so let's talk a bit about the mods being removed. What's your opinion on that? Do you think it was a good idea? Was it a bad idea? What's your take on that?
So me personally, I just miss my cigar mod. I love the masks. I loved just the power it gave you, and you can make so many cigars. You didn't need them, you couldn't sell them, but they were fun.
That's true. Especially like the alcohol mod. I feel like it was a really good addition to the RP in general. Not just because you could drink or whatever, but just it was a good source of income. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you could sell them for a good bit. It just depends. It gave shop owners something to do, because instead of just being guns, cars, Alice packs, just the usual stuff, you can have alcohol, you can have cigars, you can have cigarettes.
Yeah, hell yeah. You could have gas stations pretty much. Cato made a really good gas station, I remember.
Yeah, past sponsor.
What about the furniture mod? Do you think we can live without that, or was that kind of a really good thing we had? What do you think of that one?
As someone who had at least 3 pool tables in the middle of my base, I'm missing it.
Yeah. I feel like because Unturned in general is not very, I guess, RP friendly per se. I feel like that's one mod that really that we really needed. It enhances so much about roleplay, just because in general you don't really have. You have couches, that's about it, from furniture, you know what I mean? like from sittable furniture, whatever. You don't really have much decoration, you know what I mean?
Yeah, what other game can you turn a pool table in a blocky game into a chemist lab? I had beakers and what do you call them things?
The
microscopes on a pool table, looking like I was Walter White from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, exactly.
It was sick.
It was sick, yeah, exactly. It was the furniture mod. I feel like we really need that back. The shame, a lot of people don't know why it was removed. You know what I mean? It's just the fact that, well, obviously, compatibility issues, but that's not hard to fix. Compatibility in general is not hard to fix.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that we can't edit the mods, because we don't have permission to. So I mean, some of the mods still stuck around, but obviously the car mod was just they say it's too poor to lose, but honestly, I think it's the fact that they spent 5 hours making permissions for them, so because there's so many guys. But I don't know. I feel like now that we're actually making our own mods, it's gonna be much easier to, well, for one, customize them, but for two, fix should anything break. So
yeah. In game, I love doing mechanic things. So with the car mod, I love it. But what we need is underglow, the car modifications, neons, Because back months ago when I used to play religiously, and I started up a mechanic shop where people could come in, and I would gently put underglow on their car, but it looked sick. So if you had a proper mod for that, it would make that job and that career path so good.
Yeah, there's actually a mod on the workshop right now which actually lets you tune cars. It adds custom cars to the game, and for one, when you crash it breaks, but you can also remove the car part by part. You can remove brakes, you can remove engines, you can add stuff to the engine, you can improve it, you can add spoilers, neons, whatever. There's a mod like that exists, but it's broken, which is, I think, a majority of the problem a majority of the mods have on the workshop. So that's why we're making our own mods.
Yeah, it's always good to make your own mods because you have all the creative freedom.
Right.
See, when you run a server and you want new additions,
right,
it's good because you can just ask someone that does it, right, or the guy who made it.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need to go and ask this random Steam creator, "Oh, can you put this in?" Because they're obviously going to say no.
Exactly. For the moment, I know we're all missing the mods and stuff, but down the line, I think it's gonna be really worth it when we eventually do get our custom mods. I think it's gonna turn out well. Speaking of custom mods, what do you think of the new map? Like the rumors of a new map, which were pretty much confirmed, but we're gonna put a bunch of pictures up on the screen right now. This first picture with the mansion. What's your first take on this?
It's good. It is good. We've been looking for something new to do for ages. As in
Right.
Seattle can only go so far.
Right.
And here is wonderful. It's real. It's like a real dedicated server. It's not just
Right.
turning a base game map into an RP server.
Exactly.
It's built for it, and it will really, really help the experience.
Because obviously, like on Washington and other maps, you just have the kind of apocalyptic vibe with broken roads, whatever, what have you. But this is gonna be, an actual, like I guess, role play, map. Now, I'm not entirely sure on the size of it. We can all speculate. Obviously, anything in these pictures can change. This isn't really, a permanent like what it's gonna look like, or mods in general, what we're saying, but just a general overview of the map. But from what I can see, it does give kind of a tropical vibe, I guess. Especially the wood design like used in the buildings doesn't really look like pine, but in general, like we've tried having different maps in the past. You've had Russia, Hawaii, and what have you, but they were just too big for roleplay. We have another pic coming on the screen right now. What do you think of this kind of beachy pic? You see a small city, I guess. What do you think of this?
Yeah, I like it because it looks big. It does look big,
does,
but
yeah.
the problem with Seattle is nobody lives in Everett. Nobody lives Arlington. Nobody lives Tacoma. It's all Seattle. Like, if you don't put your base in the main part and you own a shop or something, you're not going to sell anything.
True.
You're not going to be able to have the experience you want.
True.
But this here looks like you can go into the main town, and then there's your house, which you can do stuff in.
Right.
You can see if there was like new mods.
Right.
You can have like a garage, so you just tune your car, and then that gives you something to do in the house, so it's not useless. You're not going back to just store a few guns or get stuff for a raid. You have a reason to spread out across the map, so you're all not going to be stuck in Seattle. Constant robs, constant arrests. You're going to actually have a good time.
Right. And from what I can see in these, pre-leaks is you can see kind of buildings just spread around on the hills and what have you. So, which the current maps don't have. The current maps just have a bunch of houses, buildings, whatnot, bundled up in cities. There's not many like houses or whatever in the open, which I feel like if you have it like this, whereas you have a lot of map structures everywhere, you'd have people building less, which in turn would create less lag. I mean, like building with with pine or whatever, like actually making bases, which I think that would reduce the lag amount. And obviously, like this, it'll look a lot nicer because you can obviously there's gonna be a garage, a marina for the garage plugin, not just like you have it in Seattle next to the bank, a bunch of metal floors and that's a garage.
Yeah, well, obviously you're gonna need to change. They're gonna need to do something about the houses, because if you look at the big mansion in the first picture, if that's just left to the server's devices and you can just like build as you choose, a clan's gonna run that. They're gonna put sentries all up in it. It's gonna turn into a clan base, and nobody's ever gonna see it again.
Yeah, but I feel like that's not really that big of a deal if there's a lot of houses like this one. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. Like if you have a lot of houses spread up on the map, that would be good, right? Because as the current maps are, they're all like you don't see a house in the middle of nowhere, right? They're all in cities, right? Whereas if you just have houses along roads everywhere on the map, that would fix a big lag issue, because like people would be building in prefabs, they wouldn't be making as many like bases as you do nowadays. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it would help a lot. But don't get me wrong, I'd love to have like a row of just farmhouses with big fields where it's practical to farm in. Well, they don't have to be massive. They just have to be. They have to have a purpose.
Right, exactly. Just add a roleplay purpose, you know. And coming up with the third picture here, looks like I can't really tell if that's just an expansion of the second picture we have, but or if it's a different town. I can't really tell. But whatever the case may be, it does look pretty nice. Like the kind of tropical vibe of the beach it gives you, like a beach type of city.
Yeah, I'd like to see it come to life. I'd like to see someone living in that house that has a purpose. Like, thing is, fishermen, we could easily do something fishing related, fishing mod, and have it so you can get guns, you can get something. Minecraft fishing, for example,
Right.
it's really useful. It's just not the top priority. We need these.
Exactly. That's actually a good idea. Like maybe have where there's a small chance if you fish, you can fish up a gun or something. But I'm not really sure if that's moddable. If it is, that would be pretty nice. That's actually a really
fun.
good idea. Yeah.
But like, I think places like these, like the houses like these, there needs to be a deed system. I know it's done hundreds of times before. It's near a cliche at this point, but it just see if you actually have to work towards buying a base, which isn't just a base, it's a house.
Right.
You don't have to just go scrap a load of guns, go pick up ground loot. No, you actually buy it by doing a job and you sell stuff.
That was a thing on 13 where if you didn't have money, you could make a base like you usually do. But if you did have money, you could buy a prefab for it was like 5K a day, depending on what prefab it is. The aircraft K was like 20K a day. But regardless, I did like that system honestly. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. And then this last pick we have here kind of showcases the, I guess, not prefab, the player built models, like how they're kind of getting an overhaul. Like you can see in this picture, you have miniature sized, I guess, ramp parts, which from what I can tell in this picture, they're making it whereas you can fit 4 smaller structures into one floor or roof or what have you. You see what I mean? Like in a 1x1.
Yeah.
That's gonna be, I guess, pretty nice for just the sake of customizing your base more. But yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully, this would do well in the current map. But if we're relying more on a prefab based economy or world or map, it would just be so much. It would be unnecessary. But from now, if we're waiting on the map for a while, this would be perfect. It gives you so much more accessibility with your builds. It looks like other games. The building system works in other games. Rust comes to mind.
Yeah, true.
The building system on that is it has its flaws, but
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's customizable, is what it is. I also see some train tracks in the background. I wonder what that's gonna be. Is there a possibility of a train you could ride on the map? Is that gonna be player built? Is that gonna be player? I wonder what that is.
Yeah, I've seen a map. The trains are useful. Like, I've always loved the idea of a train base. Just seems cool.
Yeah, true.
Or even you all get like even businesses on a train carriage.
Oh yeah.
Imagine being a traveling trader.
Oh yeah, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, like you have the train on Kuwait and Russia. Yeah.
And if you're having a bigger map, a train might be useful.
True.
Like a passenger train.
Might actually be like you said, like a practical thing if it's a bigger map. Yeah.
Yeah, it could work, especially if it's player built. Though, I don't know how useful it could be.
Yeah, we'll see what it turns into. But if it's even possible to like make it player built, whereas players can place railroads and then have a train on it, that would be pretty cool. But again, that would be pretty I guess chaotic at the same time for like, I don't know, both rule wise and just trolling. I guess there'd be like train tracks everywhere and stuff. So
yeah, it just doesn't seem like that's the way they're gonna go with it. So, but it's nice to see fresh ideas, because I don't think I've seen many player-built train models or player-built train attachments. I've just seen your maps with trains.
Right. Well, at this point, you know, we're obviously just speculating because these mods can turn everything. Maybe the map completely changes, you know, but for what it is now, it's like it's on a pretty decent track, I'd say.
Pun intended.
Yep. Pun intended right there, you know. But yeah, we'll see what it turns into. Yeah, so that's it for today's main topic. Now we'll be moving on to advertisements, after which we'll be showcasing the top funniest videos we've chosen from the Discord channel, and the winner of the MVP Plus rank will be announced.
Have you ever wanted a luxury apartment in the middle of Seattle, but felt the prefabs were too bland? Check out Seattle Overlook Tower to get yourself a snazzy apartment. Are you a fan of guns, or just a fashionista? Come down to Tomato Store where we sell everything you need. At number 5, we got a video coming from Tomato. Just when you think you escaped. Bad luck.
Ow. Tomato. I need to feed my kills, Tomato.
At number 4, we got a submission from Smash. Don't mess with sentries.
I don't believe you. I steal your.
Coming up at number 3 is a video from Crossen. Should hire him for the artillery squad.
Oh, cause you stood.
Number 2, we got another video coming from Smash. That looks like a really bad place to be at.
Let me out then. You can't do this.
And at number 1, and our winner of the MVP Plus rank giveaway is Dan, showcasing the chaos and randomness of RP.
Man, the temptation to just like headshot him in the face right now is insane.
And that concludes this episode of the Pandahut podcast. It only took about, 4 months. We hope everyone liked the sneak peeks we have so far. And there's gonna be much more to come. But that's just a general overview of what's gonna happen soon. Congratulations, Dan, on winning the rank giveaway. And stay tuned for the next episode.